Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Hunters of Justice. With me, Percy, and not the author, trestwho.
Not the other.
Yeah, we have to specify because you are not the actor of this one, but you are the actor of the other one.
Hmm?
Actor, author. My stupid brain. I mean, you are not the actor either, obviously. But last time, Mr. Freeze appeared on the screen. And he is ready to break some havoc. Are the heroes ready for him? Probably not. Especially not his fleeting punch. Without further ado, let's simply see how they deal with the fleeting villain. Oh, once again, I try to highlight the whole sentence or the whole paragraph. I don't know why none of the forums work like that. It would be too easy. Victor Fright, more commonly known as Mr. Freeze. A notorious supervillain who had the distinction of being the first superpowered individual Batman ever had the misfortune of coming into conflict with. Over the years, he has been responsible for dozens of deaths, the theft of several hundred or thousands of dollars, and countless injuries. Now, he was rampaging inside your club, and he needed to be stopped. The only question of Lord Rand's Ratabit and Spoiler's mind, however, was why is he here? It doesn't make any sense, Spoiler said, and they raised down the server. Why would Victor attack your club? No idea, Ratabit answered. What you were running to the stand faster? We will figure that out later. Do you think Powers has something to do with it? No, Victor? Definitely. Ratabit nodded and clenched his fist. He knew that something was off about Powers, and Victor Fried attacking the club was proof of that. There was only one thing that motivated Victor to do what he did. I mean, yeah, there was one thing that motivated him, but are you sure that's the one thing that you think of? It might be by a different thing. I thought Victor was in the rehabilitation program, Red asked. Having had fried pie during his off time. By all accounts, Victor was a successful participant, working out of a specialized lab on the other side of Rhythm. He is, Connor replied, which makes it more confusing. We had been in contact with Victor lately, and there was no indication of anything going wrong on his end. The person lips formed and frowned. He didn't like this one bit, not one bit. They were going into battle completely in the dark, unable to contact the outside world for reinforcements, despite all attempts to do so. Not only that, he didn't even know where Mr. Freeze was. The man was destroying every security camera he came across. I mean, if you follow the trend of when they are destroying it, or when, you would actually know where he is. Leaving them blind to his movement. But what was the worst of it, for one, was just how cold it was getting. With each floor they felt, it was like dipping deeper into a freezer. I mean, yeah, the whole building is getting colder, then everything is getting closer. He fell on the floor, and almost immediately noticed a distinct film of ice covering the floor. They mist floated in the air, and their breaths condensed before their faces. Oh my god! Thought I muttered, and they noticed. At the far end of the corridor, the body of a security guard. He was standing upright, his arm facing forward and his finger on the trigger. Imagine if Mr. Freeze approached him. At that moment, as he shot towards the heroes. I mean, that would be one kind of problem. The Osprey was standing back from being fired, and the terrified expression was fastened across his face. First of all, he was completely encased in ice from head to toe. I mean, once again, if Wise was here, he would be able to unice them, just smash them out off. I really scanned his body for any vital signatures, but he closed his eyes and sighed remorsefully. Oh yeah. I shouldn't forget that humans don't have aura. So they can't actually survive being iced for a long period of time. He's gone, he went, looking down and to the side. Damn it, Victor! What have you done? Halloween asked himself under his breath. He said himself, not looking at the rest of his comrades. Victor and me here suddenly. There has to be a tale about Antoine's movement. We figured it out. We find him. When you say about Antoine's movement, are you meaning something like this? Something like this? Who was actually making a pattern in his movements, the freezing alchemist? I don't think Mr. Freeze is making an alchemical circle in the building. But it would be funny if he did. On it! The last spoiler and the other replied in unison. They then began getting to work. Using their mass detective mode, they began to search for any evidence regarding Mr. Freeze's movement. Quickly they found a trail, which led them to somewhere on the opposite side of the floor, heading upwards. I mean, on ice it's easier to notice any kind of footmarks. Even if he doesn't have body heat too much. Halloween cursed to himself, and they just gone down another flight of stairs. They could have run into him and stop this all at once. But at the same time, perhaps that would have been for the worse. After all, randomly running into a supervillain unprepared was a recipe for disaster. They headed to the server, where they found the steps covered in ice so truly it had become a slide. You don't want to slide down the stairwell He didn't know them in the slightest, and they all simply pulled out their grappling hooks and leaped offward. That is why the ice growing thicker and thicker with each passing floor until the ice are really stopped. And there were words on the wall saying right behind you. Wait! Go back! Dora called out, holding her hand and going back down to the floor below. And Dora noticed the ice had indeed stopped after the floor. And here the ice was as thick as she had ever seen. In some places nearly a foot thick. Usually the hero did their hooks and let into the ice covered floor. Pulling out the weapon and they walked forward. None of them said a word. Their eyes peeled for any movement. Ice got underfoot, and they quickly stepped further into the frozen floor. Their suits insulation protecting them from the cold, but even then, they couldn't have much shiver on occasion. Part of Nora wondered if that was due to some shared nervousness, but just as quickly as it appeared, she brushed it aside. She couldn't afford to let those like those cloud her judgment, not when people's lives were on the line. Suddenly, Radaway stopped and touched our closed fist. Radaway, you are not all might. You shouldn't do the pose. Yeah! Immediately, Nora ran as for a hearted, heading for whatever caught Tim's attention. He turned to face them, the eyes of his mask glowing white, as he pointed two fingers into a distant room. Nodded silently. They slowly maneuvered themselves along the wall. They activated their mask optics to see through the wall as well, and to compare what everybody was seeing. To their shock, what they saw was nothing as thick as a cloud of gold there, like everything inside the room, preventing them from even seeing the furniture. A quick scan into their rooms showed that none had this property, telling them why everybody was so interested in this room. So it's either a trap or a limitation. This can be anything else. No hand at the main card, and raised it up, preparing to break down the wall and create an opening. She waited for Atomi's permission, and once he ran and followed her. Morally, he nodded. Nora nodded back and threw mankind back, but just as he began to swing forward, then it screamed. Ran did as well. And before either Atomic or Spotlight could react, Ran and Nora each grabbed one and lined out of the way, and a torrent of ice was shot toward them from the hallway, tagging the wall where they just were. Is it like, what the firefighter noticed? Something like this, but with ice. When you suddenly open the door in the different environment.
What is that? Explosion coming out from some box?
I'm not just saying any kind of enclosed door. The entire flag was immediately frozen, and large crystals of ice from the Earth's surface. The immediate impact of a hero, forming a large icicle that jetted out into the hallway. Now on high on Earth, the hero sharply turned toward the source. There, hanging in the mist, they saw the black silhouette of a man. Scaramouche. Makes the other man, lying them to glowing categories. Mr. Freeze, coming ground, and Mr. Freeze stepped out from the mist. Scary and pointing towards them, menacingly. Children, creating them emotionlessly. That was a body shot. I have no quarrel with you this evening, so I advise you to leave your shop immediately. You know we can do that, Victor. For lesson. Pulling at the shuriken as watching your face. Please stop this and go quietly before anyone else gets hurt. I mean, either way they have to stop him because he already can. Mr. Freeze said nothing at first, and part of Nora wanted to believe just maybe the biologist was healing smaller words. Instead of a single emotion showing on his face, Mr. Freeze pulled the trigger, expecting the action that he was naive to the side, in past, with Robin and smaller with Nora. And then a spark of eyes started the floor, while they covered encased the area around it, followed by more spikes, and Mr. Freeze fired blast after blast toward the heroes. Each one they dodged, but to the alarm, they think that more of the floor was being consumed by ice, and also there were spikes all over the area. Yay! Nora seemed surprised as she landed front and slipped, falling in onto her rear. Able to take advantage of this blunder, Mr. Freeze aimed his carry gun towards her, but a tail of electrified shurikens told by Robin to off his aim. And also his arm, probably. A lot of ice struck the walls, forming a spike of ice that now missed Nora's head. With wide eyes, she got to her feet, and dived away as a follow-up shots struck where she just was. Only now, it was the same that followed her, as she slid away. Because of precision, Mr. Freeze continued to take Nora until he felt his suit ping, as several 9mm rounds struck. Seeing his attack, he turned to his source, only to have a leaping run. He came in the faceplate. Mr. Freeze grunted and stumbled back, the eyes being crushed on the foot. Everything let up and followed up a surprise attack with several kicks, punches, and slashes, aiming for the tubes of coolant that killed the sky suit. I can't let you do that, Mr. Freeze declared, and then tried one of some farmer's bayonet at the coolant tube. Using his free hand, Mr. Freeze grabbed his wrist and stopped it entirely, much to Rand's surprise. Rand tried to break free, but the mechanical whine sounded, and Mr. Freeze's grip tightened. Then Mr. Freeze shot his hand down, striking Rand and stunning him. This sounded like he shot his head down with a gun. I played for just a second of reflex, which Mr. Freeze exploited, to raise his foot and kick into her chest. The one on Lotus found the air leave his lung as he was hurtled back, striking the wall with enough force to kick it. Ow! I grunted, but almost immediately felt his chest scream at him to move. Knowing he didn't have time to rise to his feet, yanking the wall behind him, to his surface allowing him slide to safety, just as Mr. Freeze fired at him. As he slid, Graham fired more pistols at Mr. Freeze, forcing the super villain to hastily raise his arms, pull at his waist. One of the bullets managed to puncture a coolant tube, causing Mr. Freeze's attention to shoot down to it. He frowned, The first show of emotion Nora noticed from the cold man, as he grabbed the beach with his free hand. As he looked at the rest of the heroes disdainfully. Give it up, Victor! Cora demanded, as she rushed towards him, pulling and expanding her more staff with the twirl. Mr. Freeze refused to danger with the extra, accelerating the carrying gun towards her to fire. Using her more staff, Stephanie forwarded over the shot, allowing her to kick Mr. Freeze twice before launching herself off of him. From the side, Radovan seized his chance to fire a grappling gun into Freeze's back, pulling himself forward, bringing the villain forward, and planting a small electrical charge in his stand. Arcs of electricity coursed through the suit, yet his suit insulation protected him from its effects. It didn't let him do anything to stop Nora's charge, however, as she rushed him with Mankat's hand. He barely got a shot off before Nora slammed her weapon into his side. The metal hitching from the impact, as he was sent flying into and through a nearby wall. Rumble collapsed around him, and with heavy breaths, Dorian waited for a super villain to make his next move. Oh, come on! Dora complained, and Mr. Freeze picked himself up off the ground, later because of the power carrier suit, created for all to hear. But my car started was nothing about that. Blood leaking down inside, but Mr. Freeze didn't seem to care. The more Nora thought about it, the more she noticed that Mr. Freeze didn't seem to care much about anything. I mean, yeah, he was right cold. Victor, please, Rand called out. Time to toss that into man. Just stand down. Once again, Mr. Freeze said nothing, but none of the heroes thought he was considering their words. Man was too far to summon and relentless for that, and so they made themselves for the confrontation. So, when Mr. Freeze fired at them yet again, they easily dodged the attack and rolled to their feet, preparing to retaliate. But to their surprise, Mr. Freeze didn't step into the room. Welcome to the trap. Instead, he appeared to be smirking. Yes, it is a trap. I did say that the room is either a trap or an invitation, or maybe both. For the moment, none of them knew why. Then at once, a large crack sounded from the middle of the room. The floor was dark covered in a thick layer of ice that it weighed too much for the room's support to bear. The crack expanded, and the heroes knew what was grabbing hooks to try and get themselves, only for Mr. Freeze to freeze the tool was solid, with precise shots from his carry gun. On the sun, the heroes rushed forward to super villain, only for the ice to fully crack, and the floor to collapse out from under them. They screamed in surprise, and the gravity quickly reasserted itself, sending them falling down the floor, but an avalanche of ice buried them. From above, Mr. Freeze especially rushed and the ice settled. He waited for a sign of movement, then noticed one section of the ice was violently shaking. Through the step, he saw the ice surrounding Nora explode, as being electricity coursed through her body. In the corner of her hand, she saw a button icon telling her that the soul's charge was really being drained. And with the word as yell, Nora leaped towards the supervillain with the hammer held high. So they meet her suit capable of injecting electricity into her. Shows her some that is using electricity to her advantage. Or it was just damage and leaking electricity. Either way, he is now empowered. Mr. Freeze was expecting this, however, and already had his car gun trained on her. She was able to stop the around away, striking her dead center, bending her head from head to toe to the wall behind her. Only her face was exposed, but I didn't do too much, and Mr. Freeze started to run and walked away, leaving the entrance to the tower behind him. All according to plan, he told, with no exception of few minor details. The coolant leak would have to be fixed, of course, but it was a minor detail. Most of the coolant tubes were inside his suit, with the external ones meant to be obvious targets, similar to the thinning of Batman's suit. To his structural integrity, displayed onto his suit's HUD, but within acceptable boundaries, fighting off against two non-powered and two powered individuals. At the same time, Mr. Finn knew that he wasn't killed by Little Thing. Just as he knew trying to find them off on his own was foolish. So he could get his space, and eventually finding himself before the office of Diana Powers. With a noticeable scowl before the door solid, saying it with a well-aimed punch. Mr. Powers, I believe we have an appointment, he announced as he strode into the room, searching for the CEO that he knew was coming in here. I mean, obviously he was coming because it was my call. In the mother's yard, the CEO in question shot up from behind his desk, firing a sort of double-barreled shotgun at the invader. Motion out of the car suit harmlessly, and suddenly infuriated Mr. Freeze stopped to run and now panic Powers. Now, Victor, Powers began, his eyes failing as his weapon numbly dropped from his hand. Let's start this out, okay? We can. Mr. Freeze cut him off by grabbing the edge of the desk and hurling it to the side. The wood splintered against the wall. Before the CEO could even respond, Mr. Freeze grabbed hold of him by the neck and brought him up to his face. I'm only going to ask this once. Mr. Freeze growled into the terrified face of Daniel Powers. Where is Nora? Probably right now, frozen solid on the wall. You shot her, remember? I know you are meaning other than Nora, but still, you have to specify. Let's see how long we have for, before anything. Just copy this. Before the next.
That way you can leap back to it.
Oh. Still nothing.
Like trying to drop a rock into a well and listening for the sound at the bottom of the well.
It might be a
Oh,
bottom
shit.
as well. Okay, we are stopping here. That is way too long. That might be another 40 minutes or an hour or even more.
Seems like it, yeah. How long has this video been?
It's 10 minutes, 30 minutes. That's fine.
Okay.
Especially because after this we are gonna record some 80/30 and I need my voice for that. I'm sorry it was this short, but you can hear my voice is not the best at the moment, and there's gonna be a recording later on. It's a setup. We will see what. I mean, we see what Mr. Freeze is on one thing, which is his girlfriend, right, or wife.
Yeah. A wife. I remember touching some kind of music box thing, but it was in a glass dome, and his touch kind of froze the glass and then stilled the mechanics of this object he cherished because it was a gift from his wife.
Ah, so this outfit is very much like. I'm gonna make up for one picture and then we'll tell you everything.
Oh, yeah, kind of. That leads in the right direction.
I mean, there's a human on the other side.
Yeah, and he showed more emotion than a perfect robot would have. If it was not programmed with human emotions.
I mean,
You saw it. Sometimes he got annoyed, sometimes he got amused here, but it just a little bit.
I believe you wouldn't need to do this. Just rest right now. But they pulled the plug on the project. We know that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And it did occur in Goth Corp, so I was actually not as mystified why he's here. I think the heroes were because he was on a rehabilitation program and was working too. And that's the part they don't get.
And Mr. P doesn't believe in the heroes. Because if I can stop them alone, then what can they do? And they wouldn't do what is needed to be done.
I actually didn't know he'd be that calculating, but he was a very good scientist before all of this, and you could still say he is because it's pretty high tech stuff he's dealing with.
Yeah, and knowing that he has actual insight tubes of his attitude makes it much better as well. Because no one would make a suit where, oh, I have obvious blind spots, this is my weakness, hit here.
Yep.
Uh, like in League of Legends, this guy had an exosuit and he had outer tombs, which was obvious weak spot. And he didn't have in that tombs. He was losing because of that.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure that was just a brute and not a scientist. And he just stole that exosuit or got it from someone.
Alright, we could probably end this now.
Yeah. So next time it's gonna be in 4 days. I will be tired because it's gonna be after a night shift. But we will be reading adventures in the TARDIS. And the day after we are gonna do something different. And I'm not sure if it's gonna be a horror thing. We are gonna play this Macbeth.
Oh, neat.
It's not even instant if you can, as you can see. I didn't even try that thing. I don't know how long it is. I don't know how long we are gonna play it. Hopefully they are fine. You can buy it or stream. And then on the third day we are gonna continue with this.
Alright.
But now, thank you everyone for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.